Welcome everyone to Caleb Watches Movies, the channel where I, Caleb, randomly select from one of the many movies that I own and I watch and review them for you, especially on days like today, where I am literally watching a movie and you are getting all of my genuine reactions to watching it. I was about to say first time, but this is definitely by far not the first time that I have watched this movie, because today, in honor of the official kickoff to the DCU ran by DC Studios with Superman coming out this weekend, I decided to sit back and relax and rewatch the very famous Superman the movie starring Christopher Reeve, actually third billing Christopher Reeve in this one. More specifically, we are watching the Superman the movie Extended Edition Redux Final Cut Snyder Cut Donner cut version of Superman the movie. Of course, Superman's one of my favorite heroes. DC means so much to me. I have a whole bunch of DC insignias on my forearm, so this movie means a lot. And actually, I'm more of a fan of Superman 2, just because that's the only Superman VHS that we own growing up, so I would rewatch Superman 2 constantly. If we would have had Superman the movie, that'd be the one that I'd be rewatching all the time. But I actually haven't seen Superman the movie that much, and I think the extended edition I've only watched one time before. So this is going to be quite an epic journey. It's 3 hours long, so why am I still talking? I say we get into it. This is my reaction to revisiting one of the greatest superhero films of all time, Superman the movie. Thank God studios back then took a property like this and did Superman the movie, or whatever it is, the movie. That way when it's redone nowadays, we can actually just call the movie by the hero's name. Oh, that's right, they give it a little special PowerPoint presentation in the extended edition.
Had become a symbol of hope for the city of Metropolis.
Which is so true, and I hope that in James Gunn's Superman, that mentality of the news station reporting the news and not driven by some form of political party, I hope that reigns true here. Or maybe that's something that Superman's going to be fighting against. Who knows? Dun, 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 dun. Top billing, Marlon Brando. He's in it for 10 minutes. And then Gene Hackman. I have two cats down here, by the way. You're going to be hearing some cat meowing. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. The greatest theme song ever created in the history of movies. Superman. Yeah, it's Superman, Ray. Oh, it's Superman, bud. Yeah. It's Christopher Reeve, you see? This is my cat, Ray. And, yeah, he's just a cuddle bug. He goes limp whenever you pick him up. And he's just so happy when he gets cuddles. And I think that's what he's been wanting. So, is this what you want, bud? This is good filler, because there's no way that I could be playing this for my watch-along. I would get hit with a copyright claim so quickly. So this is good vamping. Thank you. You gonna say hi to everybody? He just goes limp and just goes and, yeah, this is what I wanted, Dad. This is what I wanted. And he will lay here, so we'll see how long he lays here. Hi, bud. How are you? Hi. You haven't made an appearance on here in a very long time. Last time you were here was for arachnophobia. Oh, God. He's on the table. He's on the table. Hey, bud. Oh, you gonna just lay there? If you lay there during this whole review, I would be very, very happy. Oh, you're so cute. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Don't you dare hit the camera stand. Don't you dare do... Hey, no. Don't you dare do it. Oh, you're going to fall, bud. You are going to fall. You are going to knock over everything. Oh, God. He's behind the camera now. You know, I watched Cats earlier in 2024, and you decided not to show up. No, that's the TV screen. Stop scratching the TV screen. Hey, come here. Come here. This review is getting off to a great start. No! He knocked my camera, so we'll see how off he made that. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I'm not sorry. He's a cute cat. He's just lovey. He just loves rubbing up against everything. And now he's laid out cold down beneath my desk. So, the entire theme song I just missed. Thanks, Ray. It's the best part of the movie. It's the best thing about this. The John Williams score, this theme, greatest theme song, in my opinion, to ever exist, especially for a certain character, and how it just, you listen to it and you go, yeah, that's Superman. That couldn't be anyone else. So I'm a huge fan of trailer music. I know Superman Returns used it for their teaser trailer when they were releasing that one. It was just so perfect. I listen to this theme and probably the Superman theme every day, at least once a day when I'm at work. Check out my dome.
I'm Marlon Brando. I play Jor-El here on the planet Krypton.
Chief architect of this intended revolution and author of this insidious plot to establish a new order amongst us.
Why would you say this when you know I will kill you for it? This is the first time we see the black suit as opposed to the blue suit first. I know for the Snyder Cut of Justice League that was a big deal. We gotta see Superman in the black suit. I'm always for Superman in the red, yellow, and blue. Always. It's just a much better suit and color design, in my opinion. I do remember seeing like parts of this scene for the flashbacks for Superman 2. I know Donner was going to be directing both Superman and Superman 2 basically back to back, but then a tragedy forced him to leave directing, which is something similar when it comes to DC movies. And I've never seen the Donner cut of Superman 2, which I'll probably watch for my review of it later this week. No, not the Phantom Zone. Hey, who knows? Maybe Peter O'Toole will show up. Did a watch along of Supergirl a couple of years ago for the Flash movie. Peter O'Toole is in there, and he was just hanging out, playing Nintendo. Now, when I was a kid, I thought the Phantom Zone was just this small little glass window pane. But apparently, it's its own private dimension. We see it a little bit in Smallville and other places. But I would like to believe that I think it's scarier if you're just imprisoned in this tight little cell quarter that's called the Phantom Zone.
Now they're standing against you, Jor-El.
I will remain silent.
Well, we'll remain silent.
Neither I
and my
nor my
wife
wife will leave Krypton.
will leave Krypton.
I love how the red sun is obviously getting closer to the planet, but yet everyone is still like, nah, fake news, not gonna happen.
Have you finished?
You darn tootin'. Hey, honey, did you make one of those crystals for my consciousness? Which I think they did. She does appear in Superman 2. Yeah, because she talks about how if he goes through with the whole experiment, he's going to lose all of his power to be with this woman. I love that their judicial system is basically, yeah, you did a bad thing. Get you off this planet. They're so smart, but they're not that intelligent of a species. That's not kryptonite, is it? Or is it kryptonite? I always forget, and watching Superman 2 as a kid, I didn't really understand a lot of the things. I just knew, hey, this is Superman, and it's cool. But that's crystal, that's not kryptonite. That's not gonna hurt him. Like, that creates the Fortress of Solitude. I hope they explain what that green crystal is. Oh, what's all that shaking? Why is it so red here? Gosh, look at that sun. It got so close so quickly. Guess Jor-El was right, idiots. You know, these in-between pieces of music, you can definitely tell that they're John Williams. You can definitely tell that Williams uses a lot of the same trumpet cadences for a lot of his films. Like, that whole part sounded very Star Wars to me. Get the hell out of here, son! Hey, it's like Cersei and her brother, and Westeros is being burned to the ground. Remember how great of an ending that was for that show? See, if I was Jor-El in this moment and I saw all these people like running and screaming by me, I would just sit there on the deck of my apartment and just be like, told you, or in Marlon Brando's cases,
I told you. I also
feel like if I was Jor-El and I made the promise to the Prime Directive or whatever they were, that, yeah, my wife and I are not going to leave Krypton, I would still, like, buy a ship or make a ship and just store it. And then when it gets to this point, be like, yeah, screw you guys, we're getting in, we're leaving. Still do the whole baby thing and send off the son, but, you know, we can meet up with them later. I'm falling down. I can't get up. We should have listened. Hey, where you going? Hey, help us. We are getting all of the kitties today. This is Victor. You all know Victor. You've made appearances before in watch-alongs. most famously in Cats, I think. There you go. Could you not knock over the stand like your brother did? Buddy, what are you doing? You want to be Superman? Superman, Victor. See, she's acting very much like we do whenever we find a new cat, like on the street or under our car. Like, he doesn't have any family. No, there's no one out there for him. I guess we should keep him.
Something very strange about that boy.
You know, shit. He walked out of a meteorite. Meteorite. Yes. I think in order to get Superman right, you have to get Martha Kent and Jonathan Kent correct. And just for the tone of this movie, those two are perfect. I love them. Isn't that right, buddy? This is a much better film than the last one you watched with me. Cats is a terrible movie. It's probably the one thing Patti LuPone and I have in common. Smallville, rah, rah, rah.
You've got to get it together by Saturday.
What's wrong? We got to bring it. We're not bringing it. We got to bring it by Saturday. Oh, Clark, you horny little bitch.
I think you're the nicest guy in the whole school.
No, that's not a good thing to hear. You're the nicest boy in school. That's not a good thing to hear if you're wanting more. Hi. I love that this whole scene of teenage Clark in here, it takes like, what, 15, 20 minutes with the whole thing before we get Christopher Reeve in this movie. And it took 11 years with Smallville. You know, it's dated. It's 1978, but it still looks pretty freaking cool.
But I do know one thing. It's not to score touchdowns.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Oh, no.
Oh, it's so sad. It's just a sad thing to say, too. Like, when you know what's happening. And you're out in the country. You're so far out in the country that, gosh, you can call an ambulance and it's not going to get there in time.
All those things I can do. All those powers. And I couldn't even save him.
There are some things you're just not meant to save, Clark. That is one of my favorite lines from this movie. Just him realizing that he is so powerful physically, but even with all of the powers that he has, he still can't defeat death, still can't defeat these hypothetical things like love and things like that, which is part of when he realizes that he still can't save people that way. He feels that he can still inspire people to make better choices in their life so that they can live longer. It is kind of a shitty thing for Clark to do, though. Like, right when his dad dies, decides to just up and leave. Up and leave his mom. Hey, I know you just lost your husband of like 50 years or whatever, and I'm the only other person in your life, but I gotta go. I see signs. I think aliens are out in the crop field. Where's Mel Gibson when you need him? Great shot, though. Beautiful. Oh, I love this. Gosh, you know, for being top billed, Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, they've had so much screen time so far. Whatever a dentist is, I hope that one day you're the greatest. I've come up here to the Great White North. For some reason, I don't know what, but just to chuck this thing into the wilderness. So that's why global warming exists, and that's why the polar ice caps are melting. It's because of fucking Superman. Massive flooding all throughout the world. Wasn't me. Gosh, look at all that beachfront property right here. I think that's why Lex Luthor just hates Superman in this version of Superman. Superman just gets automatic beachfront property. He has technology for it, and that's all that Lex Luthor wants. He just wants a house on the beach. Definitely excited to see the Fortress of Solitude. It's been too long since we've had that. I like that this extended version is 3 hours, and basically each hour is its own act, essentially. This is the origin story, how Clark got here, how he grew up, and how he becomes Superman. Act 2 is going to be Superman introducing himself to the world and doing fantastical acts. And then Act 3 is going to be him saving the world from evil masterminds like Lex Luthor. Oh, I could sell these for a fortune at K Jewelers. Talking head. Talking head! Ah!
This is the greatest job ever because I don't have to memorize my lines. I can just read them here in front of this camera.
Yeah, so don't interfere. You have to lead. Which is interesting, because he interferes a lot. Like, he saves people. So it's a fine line to be like, well, you can't interfere, but you need to help and to lead. So it's like, what do you do? From what I remember of this movie, it doesn't do a good job of showing, in my opinion, doesn't do a good job of showing the lessons instilled from his human dad. We get a whole sequence here of Marlon Brando, Jor-El, showing him, this is what being a virtuous man is about, and here's how you should act. Smallville, and hell, even Man of Steel did a good job of this, of showing the duality of here's one dad's idea of what you should be, here's another dad's idea of what you should be, and then it's up to you to make the choice and decide what you want to be. Whereas in here, I feel like it's more of, this is what you're supposed to be, and this is what made the movie for all the people behind the scenes. This little turn right here that convinced everyone, okay, this is gonna look cool.
Smile. Golly, Miss Lane, how come you get all the great stories?
Cause I kill everyone else. And this is the first time, I mean, we just saw him, but it was fast and he was flying all through it. But it's our first little scene of Christopher Reeve. It's really cool. I love his version of Clark Kent.
The Daily Planet has a condition.
I'm sorry.
Gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shake it up.
Let me just rub that down here. I love his interpretation of what humans are. Just to be this nerdy, small-time Kansas boy. I love it. He blends in perfectly. He's so good. He really is Superman. There really hasn't been someone like him since. There have been great Supermans after him, but God, there's only one Christopher Reeve, and he's just perfect in this role. I love how he's so headstrong of, like, in the first instance of violence to rip open his shirt and become Superman. He's willing to be like, okay, let's just see what happens here and see what goes on. Yeah, he tries to solve it as Clark Kent like this before trying to solve it like Superman.
Lois, what are you doing?
What are you doing, Lois?
You fainted.
Sorry.
Love it.
I seen him and I'm right on him. Lower level, track 22.
Hey, secret detective, why don't you say that louder for him to hear you? That Lex Luthor's an evil son of a bitch. Yeah, gotta be careful where you fall. Oh, Harry. Oh, Harry, I know it was him. Who else would be wearing this very shitty fedora?
Why am I not reading it?
Because I haven't given it to you yet?
Right.
He's such a jerk, but he's also funny, which is just annoying.
How many girls do you know who have a Park Avenue address like this one?
Park Avenue address? 200 feet below?
Hey, it's Park Avenue, baby.
Otis, feed the babies.
Mr. Luthor, please.
Feed the babies. Otis, feed the babies. Who are the babies? I don't remember the babies. Is this an extended edition thing? Who are the babies? I don't remember what the babies are at all. Why are you here, Miss Tessmacher? It seems like you're miserable.
Maybe you'd like to have a little dinner with me.
Oh, gosh, Clark, I'm sorry, I'm booked.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can tell he has such a big crush on her, but she's just blowing him off. I feel so bad for him. He's such a positive, nice person, and everyone just blows him off, which I hope that James Gunn's Superman is able to showcase the same virtues as this version of Superman, to have this nice guy, this good guy in a world that is not nice. It is not great. This world really sucks right now. Let's all be honest. So to have a nice guy and an upstanding guy like a Superman or a Clark Kent in it, I hope they do a good job. Now, I remember when the helicopter starts freaking out and Margot Kidder just starts freaking out as well, and it always drove me crazy how overacting and melodramatic she was about it. Uh-oh.
A malfunction. Can't get the phone. Hold the cable. Hold the cable.
I always remember how quickly she's just like, See, now for a situation like this is something for Superman to get involved with and to introduce himself to the world with. Wake up! You may have a broken neck, but wake up!
Oh, hey, what's up there? Let's all just stare at it, why don't we?
There he goes. And I love that interlude theme, just the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Not much of a phone booth. Eh. Classic. That's right, use the spinning door.
Hey, Jim! Whoa! Excuse me. That's a bad outfit!
Yep, and he's got the African-American approval. That's good.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me. Who's got you?
It looks cheesy, and it could be refined with nowadays technology, but for 1978, that looks pretty damn good, and it still looks good today. Yay, we applaud it. That was entertaining. Whereas nowadays, and I think this is what Man of Steel did so well, is that when you see an act like that or someone who can do that, you have people who are like, that was awesome, and another part of people who are like, that's fucking scary.
Who are you?
A friend.
Oh, I love that. Why'd I get teary-eyed with that?
Bye.
That's such a cool shot, how he just does this backflip in the wires, and it just made it look so fluid and so beautiful. Their use of flying in this movie is so revolutionary. Yes, it looks better nowadays, but look at that. You believe this man can fly. It's so cool. Of course, the cape doesn't really reflect him flying so quickly, but you only have so much technology back then. So what I love nowadays, the cape choreography on Flight and how it just flaps as it flies around. It's gorgeous. So I wonder what Clark's plans were for that night, before the whole helicopter thing went down. Like, he wasn't planning on revealing himself anytime soon, but he did, and now he just goes around and is like, well, I might as well just do a whole bunch of Superman-ish things. Yeah?
Hi there.
I love how he waits a couple of seconds just to give him the fear of his life from doing this again. Boy, Superman's packing. Look at them britches. Jerk people out there are like, we don't want a Superman who's all about getting cats out of trees.
Man swooped out of the sky and gave him to me.
Haven't I told you to stop telling lies?
That's great parenting. Just slap the kid. That's great. Air Force One. Oh. This is Harrison Ford's plane. Do we have Russian spies on the plane?
Get off my plane.
What the hell's going on out there?
Fly. Don't look, just fly. We got something. I ain't saying what it is. Just trust me.
That man worked on that delivery for so long.
Where does he come from? Does he have a girlfriend?
Oh, I think he
What's
does
your favorite
now.
quote, Gene Cat? Now listen.
One thing I love about Man of Steel is how they didn't make Lois Lane out to be a dummy. Because in here, like, she can't tell that, she's the world's greatest reporter, and she can't tell that Clark Kent is Superman. In Man of Steel, she figures it out in, like, the first 10, 15 minutes. She does some research, of course, but she figures out who he is. I always like that. Like, let's make Lois Lane here brilliant, which is what she is. You see this, like, condominium that she has? Like, the skyscraper top of it? What a place to have for a New York reporter. Sorry, Metropolis reporter.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't, but, if I did, Miss Lane, you'd be the first to know about it.
That was such like a giddy high school boy response. You'd be the first to know.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
You're gonna end up fighting every elected official in this country.
That's
you don't
true.
really-
I do like that they changed his motto, though. I think they changed it in 2011 from Truth, Justice, and the American Way. They changed it to Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow. And I actually like that much more because I guess back in the 70s, America thought, oh, we're just everywhere. And people still think America is everywhere. At least Americans think that we're everywhere. But Better Tomorrow is such a more encompassing slogan for everyone of the world that he fights for. He doesn't just fight for America. He fights for everyone on this planet. Oh, I'd be freaking out. But I'd be so happy too. I'd be like, oh god, this is so cool. You know, once you go on a date with Superman like this, you know, if things don't work out between them, gosh, it's hard for the next guy or woman to top that, you know? Yeah, Superman took me on a flight around the world and around the city. What did you do? Oh, you took me to Applebee's. Oh, okay. Well, I guess James Marsden flew her around the city a couple of times in a plane, so I guess kind of the same. You have to think that it's probably, or it was very easy for Margot Kidder to just be infatuated with this man because, I mean, you just look at Christopher Reeve. He's Superman. He's this big, imposing force, but yet he looks so kind and so gentle. And they're going to be shooting like, oh yeah, just grab him by the arm and we're going to be shooting a bunch of flying scenes today. If I were Margot Kidder, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's going to be the easiest acting day of my entire life. That's going to be so easy. I can show you the world.
Lois, we did have a date tonight, remember?
Oh.
So wait a minute. She knew that she had a date with Superman at 8 o'clock that night, but she also made plans with Clark Kent at the same time? That's pretty shady in my opinion. Oh, this is one of the best scenes. Yeah, just, you see him change right there. Just with the glasses being taken off. His posture changes. You gotta keep your identity.
I mean, I was, at first, really nervous about tonight.
You see how, like, short he just became? That's when you know that someone is, like, a true theater actor, because he did mask and movement and used a lot of his body for theatrical performances. To be able to just change your posture for the characters that you play. He shrugs, and then in Superman, it just rolls back. It's wonderful. Yeah, we're just transferring some nuclear warheads. You know, no big deal. Just kind of another day. Another day here in America. Oh, God, Otis. You're so adorable, and yet so dumb. Okay. So, you can make the clothes disappear, just dissolve? Interesting. Didn't know that was a Superman power. I think I criticized the Supergirl movie when I did a watch-along of that a couple of years ago on the same fact. But apparently in this universe, you can just dissolve clothing as Superman, or as a Kryptonian. What's up, guys? Now, nowadays, this would be just cannon fodder, and it would be so annoying. Oh, it's the bad guy explaining their evil plan again. But for Lex Luthor, it still works, because he's so narcissistic and believes in everything that he does, and is so happy with everything that he does and all the mastermind plans that he comes up with. So yeah, he would love telling people, especially Superman, his idea.
Millions of innocent people would be killed. And the West Coast as we know it would
fall into the sea.
Where's a detonator?
Where are the detonators? Bring me my detonators. Superman. No.
You were great in your day, Superman.
You're great in your day? He's only been around in the public for like 2. I like the newest interpretation of kryptonite in My Adventures with Superman, and how when a Kryptonian is exposed to it, they start sprouting green rocks through their skin. I actually like that more. It's more representation of the kryptonite poisoning their skin. Now in Smallville, you would see like the green veins go through it, but I like the rocks that we see in that cartoon. You can break it! Break the chain! You can do it, Superman! No, you can't do it. You need Tessmacher's help. Oh, you horny little she-devil, you. You basically just sexually assaulted Superman. I love how the music is picked up. Oh, going the wrong way! Whoops! That's one.
My God, San Andreas.
Oh, that's not good. Where's the Rock when you need him?
Program for a news flash. A military missile has exploded in the Southern California.
Oh no, not the Girl Scouts and the Hollywood sign. No. Oh my God. Well, maybe that's why big time Hollywood directors hate superhero films, because they destroyed the sign in one of their movies. fixing the fault fixes the sign. I love it. That was probably the worst effect of this movie. Everything else looks pretty cool and holds up. That effect of the Hollywood sign going back up because the fault is being reestablished, that was stupid. Huh? What's that? I hear cracking. Let me stand right on the center part of the bridge.
Gentlemen, is that man all right?
Yeah. Gee, that's Superman. He must be the one who saved them.
Well, of course he's the one who said... Did you not literally just see him turn off the power? You know, Man of Steel, the audiences gave that version of Superman a lot of grief for all the destruction that he left with his fight with Zod in Metropolis. No one gave Christopher Reeve grief just now. Saved Jimmy Olsen, but still gave him enough time to take a couple of pictures while the dam is breaking and everyone starts drowning and everything. Just, just putting that out there. You can save a lot of people, but you can't save everyone all the time. And I like the symmetry here of, like, when his human dad died, just making the realization that I have all these powers, but yet I couldn't save him, the man that I love. And here's Lois, the woman that I loved, and I couldn't save her. And then you ask yourself, was it worth it? And that's the fun part about the philosophical question of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. What actually does matter to you? Well, that was their first kiss when she was dead. It's actually really sad. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's very sad. Go find Lex Luthor and punch his head off. And he's gonna turn back the Earth. Gonna put it in reverse. And that's gonna turn back time. Even as a kid, it was a concept that I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. And scientists have come out and talked about how, like, if this were to actually happen and the Earth would, stop and start going the other way, like, all of us would be flung like thousands of miles because the Earth is rotating so fast. So for him to do that was actually very irresponsible. And he would have killed every single human on this planet. Is there two of you now because you've just traveled technically back in time? My mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour right now with concepts and time and shit. So, like, right now, you're talking with Lois, but is the other you helping the missiles and everything? I'm just putting it out there, Lois. I'm never in the same room as Superman either. So, I mean, I could be. Maybe. And this is the prison from Superman 2, which I know so well.
We're all part of the same team. Night.
And that's the part of Superman that's so great. He knows we're all part of the same team. And I love this ending. Him just flying off and looking at this nice pale blue dot that we all live on. It doesn't get any better than that Christopher Reeve smile. It's so good. I'm so happy I got to watch that again. I haven't watched this movie in so long, and I've been wanting to watch it for so long, ever since they announced that they were rebooting the DCU, and Superman was going to be the first big movie to introduce us all to this new world with all these heroes. So I've been wanting to watch this for a while, and I was holding off because I wanted to do this watch along for the release of Superman this year. Oh god, I waited too long to watch this. And this is the first superhero movie that really introduced the world to the idea of superhero films. Really, the only superhero movies that we would have gotten were like movie serials back in the 40s and the 50s. A few movies with a couple of like the TV actors, like the Batman movie that came out in 66, Superman the Mole Men and all that. This was the first movie that launched the idea of taking a superhero character and putting them into the mainstream audience with movies. And it works. This movie works, but it doesn't work without Christopher Reeve. If it would have been anyone else, I mean, God, this just wouldn't have been as charming as it is. Christopher Reeve is such a charming actor, and he is Superman. And he is so connected to that character that every iteration of Superman since then has had some nod or some recollection of, hey, Superman, Christopher Reeve, thanks, buddy. The movie doesn't happen without him, and it's so funny because he's third billing, but he makes this movie. If any of you have not seen that Superman documentary that came out at the end of last year about his life and his accident and what he means to the scientific community and what he means to the world portraying this character to young kids like myself at the time, and really to adults like myself nowadays. It's a powerful film. So watch this movie, which all of you just did. Of course, you're all sticking around to watch me watch this movie for, oh gosh, maybe this is like the 5th or 6th time that I've actually watched Superman the movie. Again, I love Superman 2. That was my jam. Don't think I'll get around to doing a watch along of that one just because of time constraints, but Superman the movie is an important film in film history, important film to DC, because I know around this time DC was not doing well on the comic side of things because Marvel was taking off and they were doing more of the everyman stuff, and people were thinking, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, these are kind of old ideas. So this film comes out and it blows everyone's minds, and it still holds up today. Majority of this still holds up. It's so good. It just puts a smile on my face. Are there a couple of things here and there that, like, oh yeah, that's dated, or the idea of truth, justice, and the American way? Yeah, it's a very 70s mentality to have. But overall, this movie is so good and so important. And if you are a superhero fan, if you are a comic book fan, this is required viewing. Everyone should see Superman the movie at least once and learn to appreciate it, because nerds like myself with Superman tattoos and DC memorabilia all over this place, I wouldn't be here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here loving the nerddom that I am if this movie doesn't exist. This movie is so important. I'm going to give Superman the movie 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, what did you think about my watch along of Superman the movie? And after you watch it, hopefully you go see Superman in theaters this weekend. And once you're done with that, please comment below and let me know what you thought about it, and compare this movie to the new Superman movie and see which one you liked more, what things you didn't like, what things you did like, whatever you thought. Comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.